Season 4 Championship. We're now here at Azerbaijan for round 4. I'm Brett Keenan, joining commentary by Matthew Elliott as always, and we've come to the first of the 3 street circuits for season 2019. Let's get your input on this, Matt. So it's one of the more openly accepted of street circuits of the 3. Of course, Monaco, probably in my opinion, being one of the worst of the 3, but let's just grab your input on it. We did have the track map analysis made by Mackenzie Stewart earlier with a hot lap around by Mural Azriaf, so yeah, let's just grab your input on what you think about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
The track itself, like all the structures and stuff, is beautiful, but if you're driving on it, it can be terrible if you're not cautious through the castle section. As we saw with Charles Leclerc and many other drivers like Ludwig Saul in Season 2. And it's just a long straights. You gotta make that... You gotta lean more towards straight line speed in this one. You got a lot of long straights, so you're not really focused on the corners as much. And getting traction is probably key.
And it is, yeah, as you say, it's a very confusing circuit in the manner of how you want to structure up qualifying. And of course, with Parc Ferme regulations 4A, you can't exactly change your mind on what you want to run for that particular thing. So it really does come down to a choice between what you want in qualifying versus what you intend to have. So 15 drivers, our drivers are starting to queue in, so over the course of the weekend we've had a few changes. Radim Sebasta, formerly in Racing Point, McLaren F3, has been promoted up to F2 Red Bull, and Joshua Law, TNF1 Banana Josh, has been demoted to F3 as opposed to his poor start to the season. So probably going to see Banana Josh more up the front here, which I'm sure he'll probably be quite enthusiastic about. He does think that the committee has made a mistake, but when you look at the last 3 races, turned up to Australia, crashed out, put it into the pit wall entry, didn't attend Bahrain, and then China, spent most of his time in combat with other people in the wrong context. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts around here. Another driver we'll be keeping an eye on is Eden Haas, who had a good race last weekend out at his debut, finishing on the podium P2. Under usual normal context of driver promotions, usually the old rule for the Transnation eSports used to be that driver would be then moved up, or all positions would be moved up. So unfortunately that rule has been overlooked now. I think we just saw a Ferrari in the fence there. I was just watching Michael Pollan, and that was actually Jordan who ended up in the fence. Mike was a bit greedy on that corner, and Jordan really, I think, came in too hot, and as a result Jordan ended up in the fence. So we've got basically one of the 2 Mercs, both Ferraris, one of the 2 Red Bulls. Of course, Bojan's had a PS4 malfunction yesterday, so has ended up not being able to participate. He'll be back for Spain. Both Toro Rossos, and Toro Rosso's actually, in my opinion, Toro Rosso's actually had quite a strong lineup for this season. Of course, they've already racked up their first win in F3 for a trying to establish whether there was a win last season or the season before for either time. But you know, Daniel Bidwell did a really strong job in Bahrain, to collect his first win.
Yeah, really good to see Toro Rosso get a win. Especially since that's where I started my career. I couldn't help him do that, but
Well, you've come close on several occasions, and not to mention you're also back in the team now for F1 with the whole swap around system to what happened with Josh Banks and whatnot. So I've kind of lost track of where I should be, so I'm not really sure who I want to follow.
Probably Philip. I think he's the first one out. So,
Alright. So we'll follow Philip Gabriel, the Slovakian, who had pretty strong qualifying in China, had an altercation at the end when, in his words, his brakes activated on the straight, which basically stopped him just before the line. So it wasn't actually any attempt of making the time better than what it could have been. It was actually just a pure racing technical malfunction. So his qualifying pace was good. Race pace, on the other hand, was a little below average. Had a few little altercations with Mark Bratby here and there, so he'll be looking to hopefully not, in his views, not end up being near Mark and be able to do some good stuff. So at the moment, just having a look at the time as he's coming down this long ass straight. I don't really know what I have never really paid much attention to the micro sectors in this, but he's going to cross the line. It's going to be 39.3, so not too bad there on the soft tyre. Actually, I should be following the tyre as well, so there we go. So Ken Doyle on the hards, Ken. Banana Josh goes P2 with a 40.3 on the mediums, and then Jordan with a 41.1. So Jordan went on with that despite... Did he do that despite front wing damage?
Probably.
Hard to say. I mean, Jordan is the type of person who doesn't actually think about the consequences of not coming in after a pit stop, and we saw that in the Oceania social race. Well, you guys wouldn't have, no one did, it wasn't broadcasted, but I was able to see it, and every time he just broke his wing, he'd just go on with it rather than doing something else. So oh, there we go. So Eden Haas now to the top with a 38.5. No, 38.6, sorry. So that's a pretty good representative time. They say averaging roughly, if you're looking at the likes of John Lindbergh and all that kind of stuff in F1, you're looking at about a 37 for qualifying for that. So, to be, well, that's not too bad. I can tell you that much. Now, Ken's done a 145.3 on the hard tyre, so I don't know really. I mean, I can understand the prospect behind it because it is an established one stop from soft to medium or soft to hards, but for Ken to go the other way, it's not a bad strategy, but he will probably end up being buried in the field unless he can improve his time. Now, who else have we got? We've got Jonathan Carton up to P6 with a 42.2. Daniel Budwell up to P4 with a 40.7 on the soft. So only really two drivers at the moment in the foray of the time. But of course, we've still got our defending champion and almost points leader Fabio Farciol to do a time. He's doing his time on the mediums as well. So Fabio now, according to the driver's standings, is only one after only making 2 races so far. He's only 1 point off the championship points lead with Daniel Budwell and Matthew Smith both tied at the top. So three-way start. Sorry, carry on.
You would kind of think that things might be a little different from Maddie's perspective if he didn't have those complications with the pit lane last week.
And that was a very rare complication, something that we've seen pit lane glitches here and there from time to time. Of course, Season 2 notoriously with the pit lane glitch of being stuck in the pits if a driver retired from the session in the pits. So we've seen that. We've seen the odd occasional pit lane drive through even though you've actually gone in at the correct speed. So Matthew Smith's gone up to P5 with a 40.7, so the threshold hasn't kind of been broken yet from Joshua Law on his mediums, but of course We've got Fabio. So what we'll do is we'll get you, Matt, to run us a virtual lap around Azerbaijan on board Fabio as he does his lap.
Alright, where are we at?
Well, we're at turn 2 now, so...
Okay. Turn 2. One of the tighter turns on the track. It's just... doesn't allow for a lot of room. Another straight, DRS. Coming down, brake about 100, 125. Make this turn, accelerate. Another turn to the right here. You want to get out of traction. Then you got a little left right here.
Love this corner.
Not bad there. Then you got to make a nice sharp turn here. Coming into the notorious castle section, you want to make sure you carry enough speed up through here.
Ooh,
you can actually lose a lot of time right here.
He was very
kind of
cautious. Very cautious.
Yeah.
I think he's actually aborted the lap.
Yeah, he is. But we'll still carry on. You come through here, it's little kinks. And then this turn coming up right here is very notorious for putting people in the wall. Well, you hit that inside curb, it'll launch you.
Yeah, we saw that scary moment with Gasly and Hartley back in 2018 when Hartley had a puncture and Gasly just nearly threw himself at his own teammate. But
and this section right here just sets you up for a strong finish down the straight.
Good time to have a think, have a rest, think about what you're having for dinner tonight. I'm thinking sausages.
Ooh.
Anyway, so that was only a 51.7, but, you know, despite the fact that he did back out of that lap, here comes Joseph Roberts. Joseph up to P3, 39.9.
Very nice.
Oh, and then he's gone and put it down the escape road at turn 1. Now,
Poor attempt at a flick spin there.
Now, funnily, Joshua Law's coming back out on the same tyres he used in the first run. Oh, we've just lost Mike. Ooh. Mike didn't set a time, but that's going to give him a fresh set of tyres anyway. Actually, there's a driver I just didn't think about, actually, just for a second there. Jaden Felter, he hasn't actually gone out and done a time yet, so we'll just watch him now. He's on his lap now, coming through the castle section. Ooh, that was a bit of an early turn-in, if I do say.
That was close.
That usually invalidates too, so I'll be surprised to see what comes out of that. But yeah, you don't generally turn that early into the exit of that corner, because it does, if you do somehow by chance not invalidate the lap, it actually does cause the car to be very unsettled coming out of that exit. So you've got to be careful with those kind of moves. I wouldn't call this track really traction dependent all too much. There are certain parts of the track where you do need to be careful and where you plant your accelerator. But yeah, you've got to be careful when you're coming out of corners like that, especially even when you're using assist. So hang on, you cross the line, P7 40.8, so not too bad. On the medium tyre, he's the second of the fastest drivers of the medium tyre range. Now, Ken's also elected to change his thoughts on that and go to the mediums. Fabio hasn't elected to stay out. Diogo's now coming out. I wonder if Diogo... I just noticed that when Fabio was out, Diogo stayed in, but then when Fabio came out, Diogo... Yeah, that's an interesting one. Oh, we got someone off at the escape road down the end there. Who was that? I'm not actually sure. They've gone now, so I can't say for sure who that was. It was definitely a black car, so it might have been one of the Haas. It could have actually been Mark. Oh no, Mark's way too far out. Was it Jonathan then, maybe? No, Jonathan's only coming up to turn 2, so I actually think it could have...
Oh, Diogo went a little deep into the turn before the castle section.
Oh, and he's grabbed it.
Oh.
Now, he's going to want to have to... Oh, and he's been collected. Who's just gone into him? Someone's gone into him.
Maddie. And I think Jaden was right behind him. Jaden hit Maddie into Diogo. This is not good.
And a 5-place group penalty for a collision. Now, Diogo I believe, is in the wrong for that, because technically speaking, he should have reversed out of that spot, because he was in a position, as he's actually gone even, or was that, well, someone's hit the fence quite hard there, so...
Jaden.
That's going to cause... Oh, and Jaden's actually, I think... Yep, Jaden's actually overshot that corner quite significantly, but yeah, so I would say for a fact on that one, Diogo's probably going to have a bit of a case to answer for on that one if Matty will decide to file a report in, because you shouldn't really, I mean, in that kind of situation, Diogo had enough space that he could have turned the car around, well, not turn it around, but like, you know, he had enough position where it was turned to the point he could have just stuck it in reverse, reversed it out, and there is a bit of an escape road point just on the exit of the castle section at the top of the hill, where he could have just sat there, waited for the drivers to come through, and then pulled out. So that could be a very contradicting moment there, as I know I shouldn't be, but I'm watching Jordan on the screen here as he's about to finish a lap here. He's on the soft still. Daniel Budwell's actually gone ahead of Joshua Law. Joshua Law's actually elected to try and... Jordan, I swear to God, you did not do that on purpose. Although Jordan's done pretty well. He's qualified 8th at the moment. Joshua Law's electing now to go on the softs.
I think we might have a little teamwork brewing up here.
Why is this?
Maddie's following pretty closely behind Ken. Might be going for a slipstream down that back straight to set up a lap.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, because...
But you usually want to do that at the end of the lap, so I don't know.
And Ken's not exactly slowing down from the looks of it. No, it looks like, I think they just happen to be coming out at the same time. And Maddie has got wing damage too from that contact with Diogo's car.
I don't know why he stayed out another lap.
Yeah, that... I mean, if he thinks he's got something in it, although his time, looking at his microsector, it's pretty well off, so... it's hard to say what's going on at the moment. So we're in what we like to call happy hour. This is where the drivers go out on a blistering foray. So haven't had any change at the top, so Eden Haas has done a pretty good job, and I've got to say Joseph Roberts is in the perfect box seat at the moment. If he could find 6 tenths, maybe 7, it could be a McLaren front row, and the last time we saw a McLaren front row lockout was actually this time, Season 1, F3, when Harrison Colville and his teammate at the time, Russell Fuchs, locked out the front row from McLaren, which was back in the Honda days too. So a little history could be in the making if Joseph can just find... Oh, someone... No, there was someone definitely... Oh, there we go. Yep, there's an Alpha... I think it's Fabio? No, it's Diogo. So Diogo's had a moment at 2. No, at 3, sorry. Is there any damage on his car? Again? Not in this instance, so it looks like he must have... Maybe, I think he might have just overshot his brakes, went into the runoff area and then was reversing back, so... Hard to say, but only other driver not to have set a lap yet, other than Mike, who's not in the session anymore, is Mark Brackby, so I'm a bit surprised that Mark's put it off so... Well, he's put it off for so long. I mean, he's only got this run, so he's got to really pull something out of this lap, or else he's going to start at the back. But in hindsight, starting at the back at Azerbaijan with, look, I'll be bluntly honest, a pack of drivers who will completely fight it out for sheep stations, it's probably not a bad idea to be at the back. For Eden, it'll be a pretty good...
I would definitely take the back row here.
I would not want to start on pole either, to be honest, so I'd be a little nervous if I was Eden. Oh, and I think Eden might have just crossed the finish line, just on 0, so he's been able to get another lap in. I'm not 100% sure why he'd want to go on another lap, really, because, I mean, the closest driver to it is Philippe Gabriel, but he's not I mean, he's got to try. Philippe's got to try and find 6/10 of a second, almost.
But he's in the pit, so.
And it's it's a tall order. We've got Banana Josh on track. He's 1.7 seconds up on his previous time, but I don't think that's enough to validate. Might jump him up to the front right. Oh, he's actually he's just copped the inner guard of the thing, so that's probably just chopped a huge amount of time. Cross the line. P2 with a 38.7, so still
Mark's
missing.
moved up to P11. Oh!
And Jordan is.
I'm not gonna mention that.
I'm gonna say castle section.
Yeah. I was just flipping through and I saw a wheel pop off somebody's car.
So let's see. So Joseph is on a lap. Eden is on a lap. Actually, Eden's. Oh no, hang on. Eden's going to cross the line. Is he going to make a statement here?
Oh.
36, 37, 38, 38.4. Yep, 38.459. So, and further increases his gap. Now, oh, whose wheel's that? That's a medium. So that was Ken. That tyre actually very nearly flew out and hit Joseph.
Or Maddie. Maddie was right back there.
Oh
no, Joe.
Oh, he's managed to hold on to it. He's got no front wing now. That might compromise.
It's scrubbed out considerable amount of speed too.
I actually don't even think this lap was really on for anything, to be honest, either. So 41.4. So that's stopped his charge. The only other person that could make a difference here is Nate, but Nate's right off it. I think actually
low fuel.
Yep. So that's an interesting telling point. So Eden Haas takes pole position. Pretty sure that's it. Who got pole in China?
I think it was Eden.
Yeah, so 2 on the trot for Eden. It could be.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Or was it Fabio?
Maybe it was Fabio. No, it was Fabio, but he had a bad start.
Yeah. So, and he's ended up P4 with a 39.6.
Nate, just retire.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect pit entry. It'll be a lot cleaner than what I attempt. Jeez, after all, I spent all of my social race figuring out how to get in the pit lane without busting my tyre. Didn't go too well, but so let's have a look at it. So Joseph Roberts, as I said, has done a really good job to be P5. Championship points leaders Daniel and Maddie are both 6th and 7th. Mark's done a pretty good job, despite probably being the driver with the least amount of time to practice out of the F3 drivers. Well, him, Mike and Nate actually. P12, sorry. Diogo definitely the biggest disappointment of the day with a 2-minute 22.2. Just didn't look like he had a handle on the car. And oh yeah, that's right, we've also got a 5-place grid penalty for... Oh, actually both? Daniel and Maddie both have 5-place grid penalties, so the championship contenders are going to have a bit of fun today. Was Daniel in that accident as well or something? I wonder.
It was towards the end of qualifying. There was like 3 cars going through the little windy section before the curb turn.
Okay, so there must have been some kind of altercation there. So it looks like this sky has darkened over a little bit since qualifying. Of course, qualifying is in the evening and the race is a bit differently, but there is cloud cover, which means the UV on the circuit will be a lot worse than usual, which means tyre degs should be a bit of a problem for today's race. Not sure whether the
At
weather's
least
gonna...
they don't have to worry about rain.
Well, we don't know about that, do we?
I do. It will be dry.
Well, either which way, Matt will run you through the TKO Media starting grid for the 4th round of the championship.
And in P1, we have Eden Haas. P2, Joshua Law. P3, Philip Gabriar. P4, Fabio Farcioli. P5, Joseph Roberts. P6, Jaden Felter. P7, Jordan Dittmer. P8, Ken Doyle. P9, Jonathan Carton. P10, Daniel Budwell.
Oh.
P11, Mark Bradby. What?
But Joshua Law's just spun on the formation lap.
Oof. P12, Maddie Smith. P13, Nathan Pinkert. P14, Diogo Cruz. And P15, Michael Poland.
Yeah, very I don't know whether there was contact there or something, but it did end up with Joshua Law in a spin, and he's been put to the back on the grid. I don't know if anyone else is joining him. Oh yeah, Philip's there. So
Philip.
Actually, Philip, Jaden, and Joseph. So currently, you see the cars that you see on the circuit is, oh god,
They're stacking up on the grid.
yeah.
Sheesh.
Because all of a sudden now you see Jonathan up into 2nd on the formation lap. So you've lost pretty much from positions 2 to 8. They're all waiting on the grid now. Now, I was just noticing something really interesting here. Now, both Matty and Daniel both had 5-place grid penalties, but for some reason, Mark has somehow split them.
That's weird.
I don't know how that works. I would have... It's a...
Because they were right next to each other.
It's... Well, I'm just trying to piece it together for a second. So, Matt qualified in P7, and Daniel was P6. So I think the effectiveness behind it...
Mark would be intense.
Yeah, so there is a bit of a weirdness there. I don't know. I don't think Mark's going to notice that, but for us, that's
we just told him. So.
Yeah, well, we've just announced it, sort of, but in saying that, it's just a weird... Jesus! So many cars on the grid. It's probably the most I've ever seen, ever being returned to the track in TNF1 history, but either way, we know how this all works, so we just see the lights build up, then the lights go out, and then you actually see the lights build up on the screen. It's lights... Oh, there's weirdness there, but lights out, away we go, and it looks like it was a good start by Eden. And
Josh spun.
No, it wasn't Josh spun, it was Fabio into Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fabio was very deep on the brakes there, and it's been very compromised for a lot of drivers. So Eden Haas leads it off from Jaden Felter. Ken Doyle's up to P3 from near the back. Joseph has managed to hold on to where he is. Joshua Law's up to being dropped to P5, so despite the spin, he's actually been able to hold ground a little bit. Then Fabio Diogo's come from the back of the field to 7th. Jonathan...
Chaos in Baku.
Jonathan in P9, and then the 2 Ferraris in P9 and 10. So Philip again with an atrocious start. Also biggest losers also being Mark. He's dropped from 11th to 14th. Mike has retained his position at the back of the field. I've got a photographer taking a few snapshots in the background, while Eden Haas leads them through 2.7 seconds already over Jaden Felter. But now on the strategy perspective, Jaden Felter looking really good at the moment. Oh, we got a bit of a moment there. Joshua Law trying to get on the inside of Joseph Roberts. That was quite aggressive there, and
first retirement.
Yep, and it's Maddie, the championship points leader too. So Oh, there's a bit of... Oh, this is going to get ugly. Hang on, I'm going to have to keep an eye on this. This is about to get really ugly. Joseph in the fence. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, there's so much congestion here. Oh my god, they're going to go 3 wide down the back straight. Main straight.
Oh, no!
Ooh. That was poor timing from Joshua Law there. He did not anticipate that Joseph was going to slow down that rapidly to get into the pit lane, and it is a very tricky pit lane at that.
Yeah, being flanked by 2 guys, you got to slow down and let them by. So in Joseph's effort to slow down, Joshua was just too close, just got into the back of him.
I would have thought it would have been a DNF actually, based on their speed that they were both coming at, but looks like it's all kind of played out quite well in that regard. We've only lost Maddie, but I'm guessing Maddie lost it. No, actually it was a lot earlier than that because we were commenting on the thing, so it must have been down here that he lost it. But yeah, Kenny Brown could be on for a good result. Last thing you wanted me is to throw that meme back on the Discord. So, oh, he's scaring me. He's scaring me with that amount of lag. So Philip has managed to recover quite nicely from his first lap instance. So just trying to go back from it. What could you make from the race start, basically, from the perspective of Fabio and all that?
Just looked like racing incident. Got a little too... maybe just not on the brakes early enough. Or it just... yeah. It didn't look cheap to me, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say.
Joseph Roberts again, so... yeah, I mean... that incident with Josh and Joseph down the last corner, or we call it the last corner, the kink doesn't really count in my personal perspective as a corner, but just Josh was just too aggressive, cost him a little bit, and then it caused the Constantina effect. We've got Mark in the pits now, so Mark's had an issue and he's now ended up in the pit lane. Of course, Mark will just be looking to try and when it comes to Azerbaijan, Monaco, Singapore, any kind of tracks like this with tight canyons to stop anyone that wants to be greedy, these are the kind of races where you've got to look out for survival more than it is for people like Eden at the moment. Eden, he could just consolidate and just look after himself at the moment because he's controlling the field. We've got a sector 2 crash. It is not showing us. Oh, actually, wait, hang on. That was interesting. Let me just go on board with Mark for a second and look at something. There was debris from what looked to be a racing point car, which is only Joshua Law, as
oh,
Nate.
No.
Oh, Nate. Ooh. That's a very dangerous spot.
Curb turn.
Yep.
Got him.
See, now that's the kind of crash that you would see a virtual or a safety car, because that's a... oh, we got a change of position here. Mike has actually managed to get through on Jordan. And Jordan is now heading to the pit, so...
Jordan has absolutely no front wing.
So Jordan's obviously had front wing damage heading into the kink, and then has gone straight into the wall. So he'll be counting his prayers that he's alive. Joshua Law does the fastest lap of the race, but his race is pretty well and truly over based on how much of a gap he'll have. Oh, and Mike's now just gone straight ahead at turn 3. And now he's going to wait for the other drivers to come through. So well done there, Mike, for being spatially aware. Mark is ahead of Jordan, so that's going to continue their little rivalry they've got going on.
Fight to the death.
Fight to the death, yeah. So Jaden's done a really good job. He's holding his ground. Oh, sector 2 again. Let's flash through. Oh, there we go. It is Mike. So Mike at turn, that's the corner before the tight bend before the castle section, so it's not, I wouldn't call that the most idealistic area to go off, but it does happen from time to time. Now Mike's just going to want to have to try and be careful. Oh, and Mark's...
Oh no!
Now, Mark will always been given a 5-second stop go for, well, 5 second. Actually, one thing I've noticed the difference between 2019 and 2018 is that they've almost looked like they've gotten rid of the 5-second stop go.
I haven't seen a lot of them.
Well, I see
speeding in pit lane.
Yeah, well, speeding in pit lane looks like it's just a 5-second penalty now, so it looks like people must have complained in 2018 based on the fact that the 5-second stop go was considered unfair, and especially if the driver didn't serve it. So I guess they've just changed it to a straight up 5-second penalty. Oh, Mark's gonna struggle to get through here, but he's managed to pull it off now. I want to pay attention to this because usually 90% of the time any driver that comes through here doesn't think about... No, he's done it perfectly, so well done there, Mark, not boosting it in there at rapid knots. So based on the championship perspective, with Maddie out of the race and Fabio 3rd and Daniel 7th, Fabio will definitely take the championship points lead. Eden with a win and a second should elevate him quite high in the standings as well, so I think we've probably got a good championship battle here brewing between, in my personal opinion, I think Fabio and Eden are going to be definitely good compatriots for the championship this season. Of course, Fabio didn't quite have that last season, with me and Jaden having a pretty poor back half of the season. We've got a move there, so that's Philip getting past Diogo. Diogo's coming into the pit. I wonder... Oh, that's how I get in the pits. I hope I don't do that in the race, but... And we've also got Daniel in, so is this... Well, Diogo's going to need a front wing change, there's no denying that after what he's just done there. Is Daniel a front wing change? No, Daniel is a strategy. Nope. Strategy play, so... surprisingly, Diogo only just came out just behind Daniel, so that's not too bad, and they're going to come out just behind... Oh, actually Joseph... Oh, Joseph got so pinched in that. But it looks like he's managed to come out just behind Joseph, in front of Joseph, just behind Diogo, so... Jordan's up to P11 based on all this. Mark has changed his front wing, but he's gone back out on another set of softs. So just looking around at the moment, the field's kind of spreading out a bit. Joshua Law is kind of honing in on Jonathan quite clearly. I think Jonathan, though, has front wing damage. Yeah, well, it's hard to say to be sure, but these two have had history. Quite a lot of history, actually, dating back to the F3 Season 1. It'll be interesting to see if that history translates into race trim. Jonathan does have front wing damage, but only front end plate, so it's not too bad. But this is going to be an interesting...
Oh, so does Joshua.
Yeah,
but right on plate.
But look at the difference in the assists show a lot, so we're just going to pay attention to this because... Okay, I was actually thinking Jonathan would have got his arms out a bit more. Oh no, hang on, here we go, Jonathan! Personally, I was anticipating Jonathan for going for a dive there, but it doesn't look like... Doesn't look like he's done it. Now anyway, Fabio's made his stop and he's come out on the hard tyre as well, so a lot of drivers are going for the hard, softer hard method. Eden is definitely staying out a lot longer, but I would definitely say that because he's got the speed to... Oh, Joseph's back in the pits too, actually, front wing damage. We'll be seeing a lot of this, so it's no surprise, but Yeah, Eden just trucking along. Doesn't really feel threatened at the moment, so we'll just see how that plays out. You'll probably come in this lap, no doubt, because even if you are just... Ooh, sector 3 crash. No one in particular. And as I say, Eden now in. It's been a very controlled race for Eden today, so it'll be a well-deserved victory. As Jaden now will take the lead of the race. Ken should take P3. Sector 1. Oh, Mark. We have lost Mark. Where have we lost Mark?
Oh, turn 1.
Turn 1. Is that going to bring out a safety car? A safety car would help those affected by the turn 1 incident. We've got Philip in the pits. Now, I just noticed actually that Joshua Law's running on a different strategy that's going to hurt him even further. He started on the softs, he's gone on the softs again for this stint, so you should probably expect to see him in this lap actually, so I'm not really 100% sure what kind of strategy this is, but it's not been essentially beneficial. So three.
I think any way you went with his early stop, he was going to have to make another stop afterward too. So.
Yeah, so I suppose might as well just throw shit to the wind, go and try and get a fastest lap, which probably will be evaporated when Ken or Jaden get on this tyre. Now, I did say that Jaden would be in for a shot at winning this race based on his strategy, but that strategy kind of hinged on his pace, and his pace versus Eden on the soft was not very good, so still on for a podium though, based on this, as long as he can keep it off the wall and whatnot. He's controlling the gap between himself and Ken at the moment, so that's good as well. Ken's actually coming in, so I don't know what the differences between the two tyres were, but I would think that 8 laps on a set of mediums is probably too little.
I would say so. You would just think taking a set of softs 6 laps, and then mediums you could probably get at least 4 or 5 more than that.
Yeah, I'd think so, but maybe I don't see any wing change either, so it's not an unethical change, so it should still put him reasonably in a good position, so long as... Oh, he's only just come out in front of Daniel, and Daniel's got DRS. We should see a move here. Sector 2, we've just lost Jordan.
Jordan's out.
Yep.
Where was it?
Well, I think it's turn 1. Is it? No, castle section, I'd say, based on Mike coming through to the castle section now. We might not actually know now. Who was that? That was Fabio. Oh no, we'll just wait and see. Well, that was Banana Josh, so yeah, it was Fabio, so let's just see. And then in, and then... No, not castle section.
Maybe
the turn? No, that Mike's coming up to now, that I'm thinking he's coming in too hot into. Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it will... No, we're not going to know now, are we? Drivers, and we've got 10 left, but still no safety car, so yeah, so we've got our championship points leader out of the race, Jordan Dittmer, Michael Boland, Mark Bratby and Nate Pinker, and I think that actually breaks a 30 race finish streak for Nate. Pretty sure.
I might, yeah.
I mean, for Nate, I'm pretty sure he's had a pretty good streak. And Joshua Law now in the pits, finishing his run on that tyre. He's currently P8. He'll drop probably behind Jonathan. No, actually Jonathan will be alright. In fact, Joseph is on his way to catching Jonathan here. Oh, this could be interesting. what's going to happen here is Joseph's going to go, he's trying to go around the outside, even though there's no room. And then into turn 2, you want to be positioning, too early. That's going to hurt his run. So Jaden's still out. So I'm thinking maybe Ken wasn't too happy on the mediums and wanted to get off them, because Jaden's still circulating out on these tyres. So it's more of a guaranteed one stop. Is he going to come in this lap? Nope, staying out. So he's doing alright. He's just got to look at the gap between himself and the rest of the field, sort of thing. Oh, hang on. Sector 2. Mark's left the session. A lot of rate of attrition, and Mark, as expected, has decided he'll just get himself prepped and primed for the commentary booth for F1. Other changes that you guys probably aren't aware of is that Sebastian Spicer has moved to F1 permanently, has felt that F2 is no longer his forte, and he's willing to give F1's new regulations a go. Now, while we don't really have anything going on at the moment, I'll take this time, actually I'll follow Daniel because he's close within proximity of Ken. I'll take this time to have a look at the F2 and see how that's tracking along. I'll just make sure it's turned down. At the moment we are looking at your order is, once I can get rid of this buddy thing, Albert leading from Redeem with Oliver in P3. Oliver is actually pretty close up to the back of Redeem too, and Redeem's on a different strategy. Albert's teammate Ethan is in P4 from Ludwig, Luca, Amiral, Matthew Coyler, Robin Kreft, and Marco Loez is in P10. Our casualties in that race are Melvin Connor, who is racing his final race of the season before departing from the TNF1 for future studies, and Eduardo Rojas once again having a very torrid season in F2 with only one race finish to his name. That coming last weekend at China. Well, I know what it feels like when you're having a bad string of results based on the thing. So now this battle between Ken and Daniel is now heating up. Daniel's going to go down the inside of Ken down the main straight and then into turn 1. Ken could hold the brakes and try and hold around the outside, but Daniel gets the job done. Ken actually very nearly took the opportunity there to go for a switchback, but it looks like he's played it off and cautiously gone through. So I think Ken knows with Diogo not too far behind, the last thing he wants to do is put himself in a position to get attacked by the Portuguese driver. Although he's not too optimistic on the idea that he's been overtaken by pace on Daniel, but more DRS, so we'll see how that plays out. Now, Jaden has come in and he's only now 1 second behind Fabio, so this is the battle we kind of wanted to see throughout this season. Fabio, our defending F3 world champion, and Jaden, who finished 3rd in the championship, of course yours truly finishing 2nd. Kind of wishing I was back here, but I mean, shit happens, but we'll look at it. I've actually come to notice, and I know this is a little bit off topic, and PG, well, I wouldn't call it PG rating warning here, but the term shit happens has actually become quite a trend as of late. And it's even gone to as far as like foreign people saying it, like for instance, for those who watch the Australian Supercar Championship, Simona Di Silvestro, who crashed out yesterday, even went as far as to say shit happens. So, you know, it's an interesting term. It's not an old one, not a new one, definitely by no means is it a new one, but yeah, it's quite interesting how things like that have kind of circulated over the course of the era. So, Matt, who do you think personally has made good grounds this season? Well, not this season, sorry, in today's race. As we see Diogo in the pits.
Probably Philip. He's made a good comeback from the race last week.
This battle was still heating up between Daniel and Ken. Ken's still not convinced that Daniel made this overtake based on pure pace, and he's trying to get that spot back, but it looks like Daniel's got him covered. And it's an interesting one when you look at it.
Not right there.
No, very, very wide. But unfortunately for Ken, there's not really much in the way of overtaking opportunities on that. But he's a bit slow out of... is he giving the spot?
Let him go.
He's going to let him go, but that's... In that basis, it's quite unusual because you overtook the driver.
Daniel's got wing damage, so
he does too.
I knew he couldn't fight.
Actually, I think about it, I'm pretty sure I did see him clout the castle section, just very narrowly. Not a massive whack, but enough for me to notice. So, actually, just on the other subject I was thinking about just now, looking at the car's bodywork, the 2021 regulations have been released in proper actual scale. What do you make of it?
It looks weird. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Almost like a Formula E car.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm not a huge
it's
fan.
Like a hybrid sort of look.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the rear wing. Not gonna lie on that much. It's very different to what we're looking at now. Like you look at the rear wing now, and then you look at the 2021 ones. It looks more like a dolphin fin sort of dorsal for all. And speaking of Kenny's just run off at turn 3, we've seen a lot of that today. Probably won't stop seeing a lot of it. We'll probably see a lot of it in F1 as well with all the non-ABS users, etc. That's actually put Joshua Law up to P. And we gave the wall such a hit that it actually mounted his car up the wall. So Ken's gonna struggle, and last thing I want to do is being reiterating my famous catchphrase as for season 4. So that has promoted Joshua Law up to P6, so front row of the start, P6, but of course that was on the account of...
Jaden should be making a move coming down the pit straight.
Oh, here we go. So this is the difference between 2 lap tyres, well 3 lap fresh tyres and 8 laps, so Jaden gets the job done, and Jonathan has disconnected. I saw that because I didn't see left the session. I just saw his thing pop up and I thought he crashed, but then I looked at the leaderboard and it didn't blank out, and I thought, okay, that's odd. Fabio's gonna have another look. Was gonna have a look back on Jaden. Very nearly grabbed the wall at the exit of 3, but this is good. This is good for Jaden. That's a great moral booster when you can overtake the defending champion, who's fighting for the championship at this point too. So Jaden looks like he's got some pretty good stride coming through into Azerbaijan. Ken's in the pits now. Of course, we don't want to, as commentators, we pride ourselves in what we express. The last thing we like to do is give people the commentator's curse. So
that's what I want to do. I love it.
Maybe for you. For me, I feel partially guilty. But I mean, we look at the basis on things. So you've got your 5 drivers out of the race, all different areas of the track. So you've got Jordan, who lost it. We think now, based on the fact that Mike crashed at the fast S's, we can probably assume that Jordan did in fact crash at the curb turn, and Joshua Law is disconnected as well. Very interesting. I'll just have a quick check of something. Yes, we're still live, so we're not having that PSN issue that we had at France last season, where drivers were just getting kicked out and then couldn't relog back in. No sign. I haven't had any sign of Jonathan come back in. That's interesting, but we'll press on anyway. We'll have a look at our race leader at the moment, who's more than... Oh, actually, it was 10 seconds, so Jaden is actually chewing that gap in quite a bit, but I don't think he's got enough. Oh, I could probably get him near the end, but it's a long-winded time to do it. And a beautiful chopper shot here of the Azerbaijan street, or the Azerbaijan city district. And if you could book a travel, I mean, as you look at this, if you want to book a holiday anywhere, would Azerbaijan be a place to go to?
Not for me.
Very rustic, very historic kind of place. You've got your modernized city buildings, but then you've got all these older, more like first century type buildings where it's enriched in its history. Beautiful place. I wouldn't mind going there one day, but apparently very, very windy, which generally does play a part in most interests. But yeah, definitely great drive today by Eden Haas, the Bosnian. I mean, when you've got a place called Bosnia and Herzegovina, what do you call it? Are they Bosnian or are they Herzegovinian? Okay.
Bosnian, maybe? I don't know.
Bosgovinian. We'll just start calling him that, the Bosnian. So Fabio's still within striking range of Jaden, despite Jaden overtaking him. Still no sign yet of anything happening in the regards to Jonathan, and sounds like he can't get back in. Sorry about that, just a off-topic situation. Actually, I'll tell you what, Matt, if we ride on board with Fabio, let's do a virtual lap on board Fabio again, this time showing the differences in the driving patterns between him and Jaden.
Alright. We'll start
okay, oh, you little...
He's going for the fastest lap.
I don't know if he's got the gap for that, though. He's giving up a bit.
Doing a two-step.
He's giving up a podium for this, so...
Medium's on.
Yep. He's definitely giving up a podium for this, so... Oh, actually, this is going to be close. He just gets out in front of Philip. Just. Okay, so that's interesting. So, 18 seconds. 18 seconds is the transit time between the pit stop, a service, and in and out. So that's a good thing to know. So for Eden, at the moment, as 5 second stop go for speeding for Daniel, as Joshua Law's car now gets overtaken by Diogo for position. Jonathan will at least take some knowledge of knowing that despite that he can't get back into the race, his car is currently on course to get some points. Probably at this moment it'll be looking at P10 as long as his car stays. I think the AI was set to pretty reasonable. I can't remember the exact number, but it should remotely keep him in the game. Actually, we'll have a look because Josh is the other one disconnected. Let's see if it's Josh losing ground to Jonathan is the question. For some strange reason, their gaps are frozen. Oh no, Jonathan is catching him. Well, Jonathan's ghost is catching him. That's funny. So, oh, exceeding track limits, 5-second penalty for Daniel. Where did? Oh, okay. That's in the hairpin bend before the castle section, so I didn't think it would be that. I think that's a bit extreme. So, just looking at the gap, Fabio came out just in front of Philip and the gap was 18 seconds. Eden could almost just nearly get... I mean, Eden's in a position where he could probably make a pit stop. Probably lose the lead, definitely would lose the lead to Jaden, but I'd say his pace would more than be able to catch him back up and overtake him. But we'll just see. If Eden could pull the gap out, I wouldn't be too surprised if I'd see him go for the fastest lap then. But it's just a waiting game really to see what transpires.
Daniel's coming up on Jonathan's ghost for AI.
Just see if... Well, I mean, for Jonathan, I think for Jonathan and Josh, they're pretty much gonna... Oh, Josh might get away with not losing a spot or too many spots. Jonathan, on the other hand, has got Daniel right behind him. Ken's only 3 seconds behind Daniel, and then Joseph is only 3 seconds behind Ken, so I think Jonathan will end up P10 by the end of this race. Just waiting to see if Fabio does the fastest lap. No, not on this instance. But yeah, actually quite interested to see their ERS management at the moment. So it looks like Fabio's storing ERS because he's on 0. Jaden's running on 2. And then Eden's running on 1. So Eden's definitely not too bothered about his pace on his ERS. He's just running it softly to just hold himself in. Jaden's running it traditionally, from the looks of it, to stay within the shot of it. Fabio's storing it to go for the fastest lap. Philip is also storing it, and I wouldn't say he's going for the fastest lap, but he's just storing it. Diogo is using his normally. Of course, AIs will use the automatic system, as Daniel now clears Jonathan's ghost. Ken is on 1. He's storing ERS, which is interesting. And then Joseph is catching him using the ERS traditionally. In fact, these guys are actually pretty close to being lapped actually at this rate. Joseph's only coming around, only just gone through turn 2 now, and Eden's now just coming through turn 1, so they're not too far off from being put a lap down. With only a handful of laps left to go, so the last thing they'll want is to have an altercation and be out of it. So, of course, for McLaren E3, last win for them was Austria last season by yours truly. So it's been a little while for them, so that'll be a good result for them. Red Bull still yet to claim that win yet. Well, their last win was also... What was the second race we had?
Silverstone, I think.
Yeah, so that was the last time Jaden won a race, and that was in a... Actually, was Jaden in the Red Bull, or was he in the Racing Point?
No, he was in a... What was he in?
He was in the Racing Point.
Yeah.
Because the Red Bulls were Liam and...
Yeah, Liam was the last Red Bull winner in F3.
Yeah, and that was in Brazil. So a long time there, and then Fabio's last win was Brazil of last season. His homegrown. Wow. It's hard to distinguish with Fabio because he lives in Italy, but he must have been born in Brazil. Oh, it was Sector 1 crash. Who have we got? No one. Oh no, Diogo. Diogo off at 5. not hard to do, but I think he might have just overshot it. Any damage? Yep. Diogo will just really have to hold his ground at the moment because he's on course for a P5 finish, and given that he started in 14th position, that's a good recovery. Of course, a lot of it, and he's just, if he didn't have an end plate then, he's just lost it now. Just have a quick look. Gone. Yeah, just have a quick look at the, I'll have a quick look at the F2 again, see where we're at with that. So Albert is leading from Oliver with Redeem in P3. So Redeem doing an exceptional job on his debut in F2 to be fighting up the front. The newest casualty is a Mural.
Oh, Ken! I got to watch that one real time.
Ken! No, Ken! Jesus, Ken. Where was it?
Curb turn.
Curb turn. And, ooh, 5 second penalty for Eden Haas for speeding.
Avoiding Ken's car.
For exceeding track limits, so, of course.
Yeah, he cut across that curb in order to avoid Ken's car, which Jaden just collected.
Oh, you're kidding me. Nope. Oh, no, and no front wing, so that's... Oh, that's costly. So that's going to put Fabio back to P2. Oh, Jaden, don't go boosting. No, Jaden, what are you thinking, man? I'll have to double check the lap distance because I don't know if he's made 90. I don't think he's made 90%, so he might not be classified for that one.
23 laps, and that
was
on the 23rd right now.
So, ooh, that's a touch and go situation. Oh no, I suppose no, because he would not have completed
the complete 23.
Yeah, and he didn't. So, oh, that's gutting. So he needed to complete this lap to have been classified. So that's put Philippe up to P3, and that'll promote Diogo to P4 and Josh Law up to P5. And then Jonathan Carton will be up to P6. Now, just got to go back to checking the comments here. So every driver at the moment is pretty much on course to score points. Jonathan's now right on the back of Joshua Law's Ghost. I don't know if that's an indication that Jonathan's back or something, but Jonathan's car is just... Well, actually, hang on. We'll just hold that thought as Joseph is trying to... Yeah, I think they're both AI, but yeah, Jonathan's AI has caught Josh's AI quite quickly, so could be on for a change of position here. But of course, we're just got to wait for... Oh, Joseph was unusually patient with that one. This is going to be an interesting last couple of laps here. We'll just see if... What do AIs do with AIs when they're coming into battle with one another?
Joe came in for the softs.
Oh, he did too. Well, he had the gap with Jaden out of the race. He had the gap. So he'll go for the fastest lap. Joe. Oh, Joe, don't do anything stupid here. I'm surprised that Joe has not been able to actually overtake these guys. They're ghosts.
And he just lost some wing.
He's getting impatient. He just needs to wait for the straight, Joe. Wait for the straight.
Use that slipstream, dude.
I mean, it's going to be here now. Watch as Jonathan's AI will now surge its way past. And I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's interesting. That's quite a gap. That's quite a haul of a time. Hang on, what's the tyre difference? Jonathan's tyres are actually worse. So the fact that he's clawed in the gap to Banana Josh's Ghost is more than incredible. As Daniel does the fastest lap of the race, 42.1. So I don't know if we're going to be able to talk to our top 3 again. I mean, we'll give it a
not.
Probably, I'll give it a go. I mean, we'll give it a go. We'll invite them in, but don't know if. I mean, I know Fabio doesn't like to talk to us because his English isn't that great, but I don't know about Eden and Philip yet, so we'll find that out at the end of this race. But definitely for Jonathan, who's going to equal his best finish of the season in P5, even though he's not actually in the race to do it. I'm surprised that Joseph still hasn't overtaken either of the Ghosts. He's only going to have one more lap to really... So hang on, let's see. So there's Daniel there going through the castle section. For God's sake. Has he made the job? He's done a job this time, but now he's got to try and get 5 seconds off. Which probably will happen because it's Ghost. But Joseph has taken those mediums 13 laps. That's usually quite a bad haul, but that's not too bad. Banana Josh's Ghost is in to have a stop. Bit late for the fastest lap even for an AI sense. Let's see, is it a front wing change? It is a front wing change and some soft tyres, so that puts Joshua Law to the back of the field.
He didn't want the fastest lap.
The Ghost wants the fastest lap. So, final lap now for Eden Haas, the Bosgavanian. Bosgavanian, sorry. And God, Joseph's racking up the penalties. He's right on the back of Jonathan's Ghost. He needs to settle down a little bit. He's getting just a little tiny bit impatient with this. But yeah, for Eden Haas, it's been a true and an unbelievable race for him. He hasn't got the fastest lap yet, so we'll just wait and see.
He just got it.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay, I wasn't paying attention too much to that. But he's, start to finish, qualified on pole. He almost led every single lap, which would have almost guaranteed him the Grand Slam, the first ever Transnation eSports Grand Slam. Or full house, I should say. But it is going to be a Grand Slam for Eden Haas as he comes down the back straight, well, the main straight. Back straight, main straight, I suppose you could call it both. And he will take his first win, and McLaren will take its first win since Austria last season. Eden Haas does it in fine form, and Fabio Lafacio, our defending F3 champion, is going to come out of this with P2 and, more importantly, the championship points lead. So Fabio looking to try and make it back to back, and he does it with this P2 finish and takes the fastest lap on the final lap.
There you go.
So not only does he now actually devoids Eden of the Grand Slam as Philip crosses the line and gets a podium on his second race of the season. Let's see if we can get our 2 drivers in and have a chat with our 3 drivers and see if we can have a chat with them. Probably not, but it never hurts to take a crack at it. So let's grab them in and have a chat and then look at the rest of the results. So Diogo Cruz, 14th to 4th, 10 places up from the start. Definitely driver of the day today, despite the various mistakes and, of course, the qualifying mishap, which could possibly be under investigation. We don't know. Joseph did get past Jonathan in the end, but with the amount of penalties in Joe's bank, I think it's pretty fair to say that Jonathan is going to take P5 and equal his best result of the season. Although in saying that, actually, hang on. Oh, not quite. Either which way, I think, yeah, I've tried to get them in. We'll just wait and see what happens. But yeah, good race win there for Eden Haas. He's showed his resourcefulness, he showed his pace in China as well when he was behind Radim Sebastian, who's now in F2. Actually, I want to take a moment there to have a look at that flag, because I've never seen the flag of Bosnia. Why? He's running a British flag, what the F? Maybe Bosnia doesn't have a flag, who knows. Well, any which way, I think we're pretty much convinced that we're not going to have either of them in, so Matt, any thoughts before we finish up?
Nope. Just another great race from the F3 guys. A lot of carnage as well, as to be expected at Baku.
Yeah, and plenty more where that came from. We've got F1 happening in about 2 hours' time. Next weekend we've also got the Spanish Grand Prix for the championship. Just a little quick announcement actually while I'm thinking about it. I was actually meant to mention it during the time of the race, but it got a bit hectic. The Transnation Supercar Championship has dissolved as of last weekend. We have now actually opened up a Transnation GT3 Championship on Project Cars 2, and that's actually going to kick off next weekend at the Red Bull Ring at 10 AM New Zealand Standard Time. So same time as the F1, only a day back. So without further ado, Brett Keenan, Matthew Elliott signing out from Azerbaijan, and we'll see you next time at the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. Thanks for watching, guys.